Hey there, folks. Tonight we're diving into the wild world of economics, specifically Thailand's debt-to-GDP ratio. Now I know what you're thinking. Debt to what now? Stay with me because this stuff matters. In simple terms, the debt-to-GDP ratio is like a financial report card for a country. It tells you how much debt a country has compared to the size of its economy. Think of it like this. If your salary is $50,000 a year and you have $100,000 in credit card debt, you're in trouble, right? That's a debt-to-income ratio of 200%, which is bad news bears. Now Thailand's debt-to-GDP ratio isn't quite that dire, but it's been creeping up there like a vine on a temple wall. And that, my friends, is cause for concern. Why? Because a high debt-to-GDP ratio can lead to all sorts of economic headaches like slower growth, higher interest rates, and even a full-blown financial crisis. So, how did Thailand get into this predicament? Well, there are a few culprits, and we'll get into those next. But first, let's take a closer look at the pandemic's impact on Thailand's debt. Remember 2020? Yeah, nobody wants to relive that dumpster fire of a year. But it's important to remember just how hard the COVID-19 pandemic slammed Thailand's economy. Tourism, a major source of income for Thailand, went kaput as borders slammed shut and people stayed home. Businesses shuttered, jobs vanished, and the government was left scrambling to provide relief. To do that, they had to borrow money, lots of it. Think of it like maxing out your credit cards to cover unexpected medical bills. Not ideal, but sometimes necessary. This borrowing spree caused Thailand's debt to balloon, pushing the debt-to-GDP ratio higher and higher. It's like someone spiked Thailand's economic singa with a double shot of debt, and now the country's got a serious hangover. Now, even before the pandemic hit, Thailand's economy was already showing signs of slowing down. Think of it like a tuk-tuk with a flat tire. It could still chug along, but it wasn't exactly winning any races. This slowdown made it even harder for Thailand to handle the pandemic's economic fallout. It's like trying to outrun a tsunami on crutches, not gonna end well. The sluggish economy also meant the government was collecting less tax revenue, making it even tougher to pay down the mounting debt. It's a vicious cycle. A weak economy leads to higher debt, which further weakens the economy. Fun times. But here's the thing, folks. Thailand's debt problem isn't just about the pandemic or a temporary economic slump. It's also about some deeper structural issues that have been brewing for a while. One of those issues is Thailand's aging population. Just like in many developed countries, Thailand is facing a demographic time bomb. As the population ages, there are fewer working-age people to support the growing number of retirees. This puts a strain on government finances as more money is needed for pensions and healthcare. It's like trying to build a skyscraper on a foundation of sand, not exactly a recipe for stability. Another structural issue is income inequality. Thailand has one of the highest levels of income inequality in the world, with a small elite controlling a disproportionate share of the wealth. Section 5, juggling fiscal and monetary policy. So, how does Thailand get a handle on this debt situation? Well, it's a bit like juggling chainsaws while riding a unicycle, tricky, but not impossible. One option is to try and boost economic growth. If the economy is growing at a healthy clip, it'll be easier to generate more tax revenue and chip away at the debt. Think of it like getting a raise at work. Suddenly, that credit card debt doesn't seem quite as daunting. Another option is to tighten fiscal policy, which basically means spending less and saving more. This could involve cutting government spending, raising taxes, or a combination of both. Of course, this is often unpopular, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Then there's monetary policy, which involves controlling the money supply and interest rates. The Bank of Thailand can try to stimulate the economy by lowering interest rates, making it cheaper for businesses to borrow and invest. Section 6, the High Wire Act of High Debt. Now let's be clear, folks. A high debt-to-GDP ratio isn't necessarily a death sentence for an economy. Plenty of countries have managed to function with high debt levels. But it does make the economy more vulnerable to shocks, like a sudden spike in interest rates or a global recession. It's like walking a tightrope without a safety net. One wrong step and you're in trouble. If Thailand's debt continues to rise unchecked, it could lead to a loss of investor confidence, making it more expensive to borrow money. This could trigger a vicious cycle of higher interest payments, slower growth, and even more debt. And nobody wants to see Thailand go down that road. Section 7, a prescription for fiscal health. So what's the solution? Well, there's no magic bullet, but there are a few things Thailand can do to get its fiscal house in order. One key step is to boost productivity and competitiveness. This means investing in education and infrastructure and creating a more business-friendly environment. Think of it like giving the Thai economy a much-needed software update, making it faster, more efficient, and better equipped to compete in the 21st century. Thailand also needs to tackle corruption, which is a major drag on economic growth. It's like trying to run a marathon with a backpack full of rocks. It's just going to slow you down. Finally, Thailand needs to address its structural issues, such as income inequality and the aging population. This will require difficult political choices, but it's essential for ensuring long-term economic stability. Section 8. Securing Thailand's economic future. Look folks, dealing with debt is never fun. It's like going to the dentist. You know it's important, but it's not exactly a party. But for Thailand, addressing its debt-to-GDP ratio is crucial for securing its economic future. By taking steps to boost growth, strengthen its finances, and tackle structural issues, Thailand can ensure that its economy remains as vibrant and dynamic as its culture. And that's something we can all raise a glass of debt-free singa to.